into it, Tyler.
Let's
One
do
of
it.
the things we asked ourselves is, what do we do with the Jacksonville Jaguars backfield? We had Etienne get drafted. They have Tank Bigsby, who kind of had that year two rebound this past season. I mean, Etienne had, 150 carries just in his limited time, a couple injuries, but only 500 yards last year. It was really inefficient. He played poor. Whereas Tank Bigsby, he played better, 168 carries for 766 yards. This offense was just abysmal as a whole. But, Tyler, let's beg the question. Are we buying Tank Bigsby and or Travis Etienne? And in my opinion, I'm selling both of them. Here's why. The team also drafted Tutin in the fourth round. At the beginning of the fourth round, they drafted Rashul Tutin. That's a heavy investment. That's a player that I like. He can catch the ball out of the backfield. He's got the power to run between the tackles, and he had fantastic protection at Virginia Tech, not just for 1 year, but for 2 years. I think it's time to move off. This is a new management, new coaching staff, and they went out and drafted him. And I think that their response to it is something that should be noted. I mean, like I said, this is a guy they targeted early on day 3, and I think he's going to compete. He's got the ability. I don't think that Etienne nor Bigsby are any better than he is, in my opinion. What about you, Tyler? Are you buying or selling these guys?
Yeah, so for me, I would probably sell as well. I know obviously we've kind of agreed here, so that leads to a little discussion. But here's my reasoning too, what you're saying. Travis Etienne is 26 years old, right? It's a different coaching staff when he came in. He was touted to be, Trevor Lawrence's best friend. They were going to just kind of work together. They played at Clemson, came to Jacksonville. It was just going to work. And, for the first year or two, it did. And then between injuries and whatnot, last year he didn't produce, like you mentioned, and Tank Bigsby kind of stepped up because he had to, frankly. But that first year of Tank Bigsby wasn't great either. So to me, these are both just kind of two guys here where, I could see them easily being in this committee. And like you said, this is a new coaching staff. And they brought Tutin in early day 3. And guess who Liam Coen decided to get last year, early day 3, or 2 years ago, sorry. Um, and that would be Mr. Bucky Irving. So,
Mm-hmm.
um, and people have kind of comped him, being explosives, kind of fast. Like you said, the 40 time was outrageous at this point. So,
It's not just kind of
I,
fast. It's the fastest
it
40 of all the running backs. Let's not
exactly
sugarcoat it. It's
true,
quick.
absolutely. And so, when you get an explosive guy like that, and you're coming into this situation where it's a new coaching staff, this could be a committee or it could be Tutin that takes over. Now, granted, he was, like I said, early day 3 pick, so it's not like a second rounder where you just expect him to come in and immediately produce. So you may still have a little bit of a window here to kind of sell ETN or Tank Bigsby. But honestly, the only reason, and I mean the only reason I would be buying these guys is if you can get Tutin as well. I don't want to take the shot on, you know, trying to get one of the 3 guys and it just not work out. If it's a roster where, you do your due diligence on insurance running backs, and so like last year you had ETN, you went and got Bigsby whenever ETN wasn't performing well, and then you've got a late second, early third where Tutin's probably going to go. I would probably take him there, and that's the only situation where I'm really comfortable holding or buying these guys. But at this point, I'm out. I'll sell and I'll just watch from afar and buy later.
Yeah, and I think at best, kind of what you just said is, let's say all 3 of them are at least okay. You're just looking at a committee where they're going to be
Yep.
splitting workloads. Who's going to be the guy to start? It'll be probably a mess. I mean, when we look at keep trade cut, which again, not a fan of it, but it's something that we should consider. It's the public's opinion. Travis Etienne is his value has been relatively stable over the last month or so, despite the draft capital of Tutin. So it might be time to capitalize on that. I mean, he's down 11 spots overall in running back rankings, but his overall value has remained consistent. Tank Bigsby, on the other hand, his value has dipped since the offseason, but it's still been consistent over the last month or so, and he's RB19. So that's something that I would try and go and make a move off of. Because again, I think Tutin has a role in this offense. I think he has the ability to make big plays. And you already mentioned that Bucky Irving like speed and ability to just make people miss. I mean, he was, again, I can't emphasize enough, he was fantastic at Virginia Tech. And that's
Mhm.
not something that we should necessarily overlook as we go through our rookie drafts. You can get him in the late second round. I've seen him fall in the third round. I've already drafted him 2 or 3 times in my leagues. So I think that he's someone I'm going to be targeting. Tyler, are you targeting him in your drafts?
Yeah, I definitely would, especially at that value. If he's got anybody, any running back, especially that has a chance to kind of take over this situation or at least get valuable playing time as a rookie, I'm definitely interested in at that price point. This is a little less impactful, I guess you should say. But I do find it, I think it kind of contributes to the discussion we've had of wanting a committee or possibly having a committee. They did also draft a running back in the 7th round as well in LeQuint Allen. I thought they had drafted
Mhm.
two. I mean, it is very late. So I don't, he may not even make the team. But I do think they're looking for multiple running backs to have a committee or they're trying to fill some sort of role. So I think that's just kind of a little bit of insight into, maybe the mind of the Jags front office. We'll just kind of see how that works out.
And since Coach just joined the stream, it wouldn't even surprise me if Etienne maybe got moved to a team like the Bears. I would love to see
Absolutely.
how he approached that and what his thoughts would be. One last thing on Tutin before we move on: his career at Virginia Tech, he had a 35% missed tackle force percentage. That's pretty dang good.
Hmm.
That's where Genty's at. That's where Bucky's at.
Mhm.
Those are the guys that are just elite in space. When they get you one on one, they start chopping those feet or heading to a certain angle and they make that quick cut. They just make you fall to your knees. So I'm going to be targeting him.